There's no widespread effort to stop voters from casting a ballot, and there's no desire to hand states' constitutional authorities over to the federal government. Our Democratic colleagues are struggling to accept this reality.
And what could be more hypocritical and cynical than invoking minority rights in the Senate as a pretext for preventing debate about how to preserve minority rights in the society?
You know, John Cornyn's right. I don't think a lot of Americans want for the federal government to take over rights that the states have when it comes to voting. That said, when the states are taking over, the state legislatures are taking over the power from localities and from secretaries of state and from local county supervisors of elections and saying, oh, well, we can just decide what votes we're going to count and what votes we're not going to count. That's a big problem. Let's bring right now the chairman of the DCCC, Democratic Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney of New York, also with his former chief of staff to the DCCC, Adrienne Elrod. She was a senior aide to Hillary Clinton and Biden presidential campaigns, also former senior advisor to the House Oversight Committee, Kurt Bardella. He's also a columnist for the LA Times and USA Today, and also an advisor to the DCCC. This is a DCCC day.
It is. And Sean says that our studio is the color of his dining room.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Okay,
very
good taste.
Good taste.
My work here is done.
So, Sean, everybody says that Democrats are going to lose. You look at the history, Democrats are going to lose. You look at the redistricting, Democrats are going to lose. Tell me why Democrats aren't going to lose in the House races.
I really look forward to the morning after the election when I get to come on this set, and we'll see what's right. Look, the voters will decide that. What we're going to do is fight for good jobs and good health care and safe streets, and we are going to end the pandemic and grow the economy. And the other side is trying to throw up barriers to voting and taking us back to an era when states' rights arguments were used to suppress the vote and to engage in racial discrimination. I think that's a good comparison in the swing districts, and we'll let the voters figure it out.
What about the blocking and tackling in the swing districts? Are your members holding town hall meetings every weekend? Are they knocking on doors every weekend? Are they doing the blocking and tackling that Democrats haven't always been good at doing in the past?
I think that's a fantastic question, and we've just moved a huge number of resources into early community organizing, into community engagement. We're not just going to get back on the ground after the pandemic. We're going to build that back better. We are going to be in communities with cultural competence, with local people working who are trained to do so. I'm a big believer in getting away from the air wars we always fight, back to the basics. And so you better believe it. We are going to be on the ground, and it starts with great candidates and great members of Congress doing their work and delivering on things like this infrastructure package, on things like ending the pandemic, on bringing resources to local police departments, which we're doing, and every Republican voted against. Those are the results we're going to be running on. We're going to deliver.
Hey, Kurt, there's you're a former Republican, I'm a former Republican. You're consulting with the DCCC right now. I don't know if you can say this publicly. Have you noticed a cultural difference?
No.
Like Republicans, I've said this before. When I ran, I didn't run to win by 1 percentage point. I ran to get every vote, to get every dollar, and make sure that person would never, ever think about running against me again. It was total political warfare. Now, would play it clean, but it was really rough. And it was an obsession.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Democrats not a lot of Democrats with that intensity. Is there a cultural divide between how Democrats and Republicans run?
You know, I think that the biggest difference, certainly that I've observed, is that Republicans truly, they don't care if something is 100% right, 100% accurate, 100% factual. And Democrats really do care about the truth. And I think that it surprises them. I've had many Democrats ask me, do Republicans really not care? And my answer is, no, they don't care. They want to win. They want to pound you into submission. They don't care what it takes, how ugly it gets, how nasty it gets. They're going to do whatever they got to do.
Well, and let me just add on to this. Like, I will say, in my experience, Democrats think they're right and everybody else is wrong. I mean, the Democrats that I've been around at times, that's not great when you're campaigning. Like, it's sort of like we always talk about DBT, and you've got to open your mind and go, well, maybe some people listen to these Republicans and maybe they think that they're right. Maybe they actually believe. How am I going to beat them?
Right. And I think part of the challenge is on the surface.
By the way, please don't tweet at me. I didn't say that skillfully. I'm just saying. Yeah, but
no, I know what you're saying.
I'm sunk now. I was trying to help, but I think I've just blown.
Let me help bail Joe out here. I think.
Please bail me out.
I think part of it is, on the surface, Democrats believe that, hey, we are right about a lot of these things. We are the party that is for democracy. We are the party that is for social justice, inequality. And the Republicans are 100% not. But that in itself is not enough to win. It's not enough to be right. You have to convince the American people that there's something in it for them. Republicans are very good. In fact, the Republicans are better at Democrats in this, of using fear and weaponizing fear to get ahead electorally. And I think that Democrats are going to be a lot more aggressive in 2022. I think that Democrats are understanding that the stakes are so much higher now, that literally democracy is on line. We had a violent insurrection, and Republicans are out there. The law and order Republicans are out there saying, it was just a tourist thing.
And so, Adrian, this is the thing. So I guess I was like thinking like a Democrat going into the Trump election, because I thought, all right, this is very simple. This is democracy versus a guy who's got fascist tendencies. He's trying to get his attorney general to arrest his opponent. He's the guy's like calling the free press enemies of the people. He's trying to get some members of the press thrown in jail and executed. This is easy. He gets 75 million votes. Obviously, I missed something last time. So talk about how important it is, sort of the meat and potato issues. At the end of the day, a lot of Americans are like, okay, so am I going to be able to pay my bills? Is my street going to be safe? Is inflation going up? Is it going down?
Well, that's really what it comes down to, Joe. And let's not forget about the Access Hollywood tape, too. We thought on the 2016 campaign that when that came out, it's over. It's a done deal. But it really does come down to, how does this vote, how does electing this person affect my everyday life, right? And that's why I think Democrats right now are doing such a good job on drawing a contrast on a lot of issues that do affect the lives of everyday people. I mean, the child tax credit, for example, huge thing that's going to hit mailboxes in mid-July. Democrats are really playing that up, and they are making sure that the American people know this was a Biden-Harris accomplishment. This did not just happen because these checks magically appeared. So you've got to make it clear. You've got to really drive in the point. What are you doing to affect the lives of everyday people? Same with infrastructure. I mean, I saw Josh Gottheimer, my old friend from the Clinton White House days, on earlier, talking about the Problem Solvers Caucus and how they're trying to work together on this. But that's what Democrats have to do. They've got to keep driving home those issues that affect the lives of everyday people. When I worked at the Teacher Will Say in 2006, Rahm Emanuel was the chair. We ran on culture of corruption, Jack Abramoff, big lobbyist. I think those days are over. I don't know that we can run on, like, Washington is corrupt anymore as the single issue.